Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, I want more than just casual sex. Got an email here from a viewer. He says, "Hi Corey, I really appreciate all the good work you are doing, and I take this opportunity to commend your efforts." Well, thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you're applying the things that I teach, so not only can you change yourself, but you can also help change the people around you just by your example, because leaders lead by example. And most human beings tend to have a herd mentality, and so they're just going to follow what other people do. And so the more people apply this stuff, and the more people experience success in their life and their relationships and their goals and things that they want in life, the happier they're going to make the people around them, because other people will follow your good example. So pat yourself on the back. He says, "I'm 44 years of age, and though on the surface I can get along well at work and with friends and help them to understand their relationship woes, I seem, at a personal level, to have much difficulty pursuing long-term relationships. I have had a few opportunities for sex, but after the sex I do feel used and dejected. In the past, I always tried to ensure that I please my sexual partner, but the truth is that my heart and soul never gets into it. Where I am at now, and I can understand if you reject this, as I believe your general advice leads towards aiming for the sex first." No, but that's the whole point of the courtship. A man and a woman getting together ultimately leads to sex. That's the whole purpose of it. Men and women get together. Obviously, relationship is a part of it, but it's the sexual attraction between the two sexes that initially causes one another to be interested in the other person. And if you have a healthy relationship, you're going to be having sex a lot of time. I mean, there's a difference between having sex and making love. Making love to a woman, if you've never experienced it, and I can tell from what you've told me so far, is you've dated women that you maybe thought were pretty or beautiful or they were hot, and physically you were into them at first, but the more you hung out with them, the more you realized you didn't have much in common with them, or maybe they were boring, or you just didn't find them that interesting, or maybe they didn't find you that interesting. You just didn't feel like you connect real well. I mean, think about this. How often do you meet a new best friend? It doesn't happen that often. I mean, usually if somebody that becomes your best friend, there's somebody that you're going to be friends with for quite a few years over the course of your life, or you might have several best friends just as things change. But on a day-to-day basis, you're not going to meet and hang out and become a new best friend with every single guy or girl that you meet, whoever your best friend happens to be. The reason that you become best friends with somebody is because you have a lot in common. You really enjoy hanging out together. You have a lot of fun together. You have similar interests. You have similar goals. You have similar values. You have similar outlook in life. And the whole purpose of all relationships, not just your intimate ones, your friendships, your business relationships, all of them, your family, you go there to give. You're there to help each other grow and become more, to meet each other's needs. And like I was saying, how often do you meet a new best friend? And so if you're using the things that I teach to meet a lot of women and sleep with a lot of women, and there's a huge difference between having sex with a girl that's drop dead gorgeous and having sex with a girl that's drop dead gorgeous, but who also stimulates you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. There's an invisible connection there. And when I was very young, I learned at an early age there's a definite difference between women who are really pretty, and there's just some women that you meet, and it's not the kind of thing that happens every day, maybe every couple of years, but they just take your breath away. And when you start talking to them, it's easy to talk to them. It's actually effortless. You're almost, in a way, completing each other's sentences because you have so much in common, and there's such a deep connection there. And when you're kissing and you're having sex with a girl like that versus someone who's just really hot and got a great body physically, it's really, I hate to say it, but it's like fucking a piece of meat versus making love to someone who you just absolutely, every inch of her body is sensual. And every inch that you kiss is just, you're just in absolute awe of her radiance and her beauty and the way she talks and the tone of her voice. And when she talks about whatever it happens to be that she's into or that she does for a living or what she does in her life, you're excited. You hang on her every word almost because you're that fascinated by her. And those moments are very special. But you got to practice the seduction process with the average everyday woman that you're going to meet. And she could be physically a 9 or a 10, but you might not connect with her in that particular way. And the way to know that if you met the right particular girl is that there's no doubt. You're not looking at her going, yeah, the body's a 10, the face is 10, but she's just kind of like the way her voice is. Or I mean, you look at her and you think, well, she's really pretty, she's got a nice body, but her boobs are small. Or she's really pretty and she's nice, but I don't like her hair. Or she's not really the right height that I like. Or I don't like the way she smiles. Or she's not very positive. Or she's not very interesting. When you meet the average woman, even though she might be hot, those things are going to be going through your mind. The difference between a girl that you make love with is you don't have those doubts. There's no, well, I'm not sure. I kind of like this. I kind of like... There's none of that mental gyration shit going on in your mind. When you meet a girl and she's the person that you've been waiting to meet, you just say, yeah, exactly. Where have you been? God, I've been looking to meet you. I mean, just internally, this is going on inside you. There's no doubt in your mind. You're 100% sure that you got the right girl. You can feel it. You can feel it in your heart. It gives butterflies in your stomach. She makes you feel good. She makes you feel alive. She's exciting to be around. There's like an electric energy there that you don't feel with the other beautiful women that you encounter in your life. But in order to get ready for those moments, to overcome those fears and doubts and insecurities about yourself, you have to have had enough experience with other women, taking them through the seduction process. Because if you've never gone through the process and you meet a girl that you feel this way about, and then those fears and doubts, and you say you haven't built up your emotional self-control, what happens is your negative programming starts coming out. All of your fears, your doubts, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. You start trying to prove yourself. And if you watch enough, especially a group of guys and a really super beautiful woman walks over, what happens 9 times out of 10? All the guys go from acting cool and confident and having a good time and totally natural and relaxed to they're like falling all over themselves to make an impression and prove themselves to her. They don't know how to act around a woman that they really like. And that's the point of applying the things that I teach, is so you can develop your sensory acuity, you can develop your emotional self-control, and have the experience of going through the process. So that way you treat all women the same, including the ones that just fucking knock your socks off. Because it's, even though they knock your socks off, there's going to be times when your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, any last little bit of those insecurities that you feel inside, they're going to affect you. And if you don't know how to act because you haven't gone through it, repetition's a mother of skill, which I say all the time, there's a good chance you're going to start screwing those interactions up. And that's what used to happen to me when I was younger, is when those girls came along, I would totally fuck it up, and I'd spend 6 months, a year, just totally heartbroken over it, because I know those are special moments. And it hurts like hell to get rejected from women that you really like and you connect with on that kind of a level. So he says, what I'm seriously interested in, and I'd like to know if you could help me, is how do you build a friendship with a girl or a lady that would lead to marriage and a long-term relationship? You treat all women the same. Like I said, the process, like that I talk about in my book, is that you take her out once a week. And if you do everything right, after the 3rd or 4th week, she should be doing 70 to 80% of the calling, pursuing, texting, initiating contact. And that's because she just feels so comfortable with you. And she's not necessarily going to reach out and say, hey, let's get together, let's do something. She's just calling you or talking to you or telling that she's thinking about you, or she's wondering what you're up to, or wants to tell you what a great time she had the other night. The reason that she's really calling is that she hopes you'll create another fun-filled romantic opportunity for sex to happen to get together. It's like, don't overcomplicate things. And if you have the attitude that, I'm going to go and I'm going to try the friendship route and not sleep with women, you're going to have a lot of beautiful girls as your friends, but you're not going to be having sex with any of them. And then you're going to be falling in love, wanting to have a relationship, and they're going to want nothing more to do with you than friendship. And all this tells me about the women that you're interacting with is that you just simply haven't found the right girl yet. And you probably don't even know what you're looking for because you've never taken the time to do it. There's an exercise in my book, and I also did a YouTube video and an article a while back called How to Attract the Perfect Woman. Just Google Corey Wayne, How to Attract the Perfect Woman, and that will come up. Follow those exercises because you got to figure out what it is that you want first, what's most important to you, the qualities that you must have in a woman, and the qualities that are like absolute deal killers or deal breakers for you. Because otherwise you're just kind of floating through life and you're not really sure what you want. It's like once you've taken the time to get clear about what it is that you want, you realize that the women that you're looking at and that you're noticing are different than the women that you were looking at before. It's just like the same experience. Like when you buy a new car and you think this is the coolest thing since sliced bread, and then you drive it off a lot and you see them everywhere on the road and you're like, well, I never saw this kind of car before. What's the deal with that? It's because you've got your brain conditioned to focus on a certain type of thing. You get what you focus on in life. And so if you've got a good list and you're focusing on it and you're reading it and you're reviewing it every single day, your brain naturally is going to look and identify women that fit that physical description or whatever it is that you like about a particular girl. And when you start talking to them, you realize that, wow, these girls that I'm talking to tend to have a lot of the same interests. Like me, I'm very healthy and I'm into healthy eating. And all the women that I meet that I feel a connection with, they all end up, when I start talking to them, they're into healthy eating and they're vegetarians completely, or they're vegans or whatever, or they're partial veg. Like I eat chicken, fish, turkey, that kind of thing. But it's like, that's one thing that I've realized that I always have in common with them. Just because women that are like that, they have a healthy glow to their skin, they look healthy, I can see it in their eyes, you just feel it energetically when you're around them. And because like attracts like, that's the way the universe works. And so you got to get clear about what it is you want, because like you're just kind of fumbling through life, meeting women, you're interacting with them, and you're seducing some of them, but you haven't found the right kind of girl yet. So you got to keep looking, but you got to get a list together. You got to get clear and focused on what it is that you want. And obviously there's some things that are going on in your interactions that more than likely maybe you're putting their needs before yours and you're not allowing yourself to be fulfilled. I'm not sure specifically because there's just not enough detail about it. But you need to change the kind of women that you're interacting with, because it tells me that you're chasing a lot of women that either you're not really that into because they're easy maybe, or you just haven't really taken the time to sit down and figure out what it is what you want in life. You know, think about it this way. When a 747 takes off, they don't get up in the air and go, okay, well, where's everybody want to go? It's like they have a destination, they have a flight plan, and they know where they're going. I mean, think about it. I mean, do you have any goals in life? Do you have things that you want in life? Do you have things that are important to you? You got to think about those kinds of things. So if you want to have a great relationship, if you want to make love to a woman where it's like every inch of her body is just, it's the most amazing thing, kissing her and touching her, and it's like everywhere you explore on her body, and when you look in her eyes, and when she talks, the tone of her voice, everything is like music to you when you're with her. But you got to get clear about what it is that you want. So if you have a question you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, on the right-hand column, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page. Once you get to the download page, if you don't have a Kindle device, on the right-hand side of the download page is a button you can click to download a free e-reader app for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. It only takes a matter of seconds to download and install the app, and then complete the purchase of my book. And if you appreciate the value of the information in my videos and in the articles on my website, you can show your appreciation by going to my website, and on the Wibia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.